look at some plays for NBA today. We are not going to go slate by slate and do a little bit differently here. I'm going to use a little bit more strategy, look at the highest totals of the day. So this is one of those things where you use Vegas to your advantage. I think a lot of people in their minds have it set to, no, we have to go against Vegas. Everything we do has to be against Vegas. And to a certain extent, that is true. But how we're going to look at things today is we're going to look at how do we use Vegas for our advantage, let's say. So one of the ways you can do this is when you see games that are really high total, well, this can mean two things, right? These games are going to go very high scoring, right? So Vegas is projecting for today, let's look at this OKC and Atlanta game, 244.5. That is the highest for the slate tonight. New York Knicks and Grizzlies are also up there. But how we can use this to our advantage is two high scoring, this is a very high scoring game, right? So what does that mean? That means there's going to be more points. There's going to be more rebounds. There's going to be more assists. There's going to be more turnovers, more blocks, more steals, more of everything. Pace is going to be faster. So now the guys that are older and the guys that can't run as fast, the lazier guys, the guys like like Wemby or Zion, bigger guys who can't move as much or can only play short minutes and they get tired really quickly. So those are the type of things you got to kind of keep in mind. I think centers lose value a little bit more because they go smaller. So like Hardenstein and Okongwu, two guys that I'm kind of trying to fade on this game. I'm going for a faster pace. So let's dive right into this OKC Atlanta game, right? Since we're talking about it anyways. On the OKC side, we can look at the injury news. Alex Caruso is out today, and Alex Caruso, great defender, getting about 20-25 minutes at the guard position. So now let's think about who this is going to benefit, right? This is going to benefit other guards. So let's go all the way up to OKC. Other guards. We have, well, is it going to benefit Shea? Not really, because Shea's already getting his minutes. He's the best player on the team, the franchise guy. Is it going to benefit Lu Dort? Sure, in certain points, yes. That means more of Lu Dort's minutes. Lu Dort's going to play more minutes. He's not going to get subbed out earlier because Alex Caruso would kind of be taking his spot at the shooting guard position. But this also means guys like Cason Wallace is going to get more minutes off the bench, and he's already someone who's looking at 30, 34. These minutes are going to be there for him. So, a play we could look at is Cason to get about 15 points. Very feasible, right? He's taking a good amount of shots, coming off the bench, running the second unit. This is a good way for him to get more minutes here and shots up. More shots, more potential points. So Wallace looks really good. Aaron Wiggins has been killing it lately, taking a lot of shots. Another guy I really like. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 20 points. Look at some of these like field goal attempts. 19. You have 16 here. He is doing really well recently, and that's really good for confidence. One of the main things I even tell everyone on the Sharp Bros Premium Discord, link in bio, come check us out. But the one thing I overstate is for 3-pointers, you always want to see who is doing well recently, who's more confident, because that really flows throughout the game. If someone's having a really good performance, then that means they're confident. 3-point shooting is very confidence based. If your shot's not right, if you don't have that Steph Curry juju in you, then it's just not going to flow, right? So when players are more confident with their 3-pointers, it kind of flows. That's why you see a lot of these players have a string of good 3-point shooting and then really bad ones, right? So I really want to target guys when they're shooting well from the 3-point line. For Aaron Wiggins, he's getting 3-point attempts, 7, 6, shooting at 29%, 17%. So maybe not the best for threes. But what can we look at? We can look at points, 24 points, 19 points. Aaron Wiggins, 20 points. Why not? He's getting a lot more shots. Alex Caruso is out. More minutes for him. Faster paced game, right? So that's a great play right there. As far as anyone else from the bench, I mean, that's kind of it. So OKC side, Wallace, Wiggins are two solid options. Isaiah Joe, really good three-point shooter, but it seems like these minutes are not been great lately for him. So not someone I want to attack here. Looking at starters, I know OKC's heavy favorites here, but I feel like this will be a close game, just because more of Hawks at home, and you have Dyson Daniels. He is leading the league in steals this year. I mean, he has been absolutely crushing it. People are saying, why is he not in the conversation for defensive player of the year, which I totally agree. They usually try to give it to those like Wemby type of guys, the guys that get blocks rather than steals. But I mean, Dyson Daniels, he has been amazing, tremendous for the Hawks. So for this reason, I am out on Shai. I think Dyson Daniels is going to be harassing him on the other side the whole game. So if Shai's out, then we look at the number 2 player, which is Jalen Williams, right? How is Jalen Williams going to do? He's going to get more shots, faster paced game. Ball is going to be in his hands more. So someone like Jalen Williams for, assists looks good, maybe 5 assists. Maybe even 25 to 30 points, right? You want to go the higher end because these fast-paced games, you're already going to get a lot of the odds are already going to be boosted. Vegas is already going to be like, okay, this is a faster-paced game, so we're going to boost these points up. And when people look at points scored in the past games, they overlook what the total is for this game, and it's very high, right? So most people, they're going to look at Jalen Williams' past games and they'll be like, oh, well, you're saying he's going to go for 30 points? Well, there's no way. Look at his last 10 games. He hasn't scored 30 points. Sure, fair point. But now you have to realize this is a faster paced game, right? One of these games were huge blowouts. Some games he only played 30 minutes. So that's another thing you have to keep in mind. And now Shai is getting harassed with Dyson Daniels' defense on the other side. So I really do like Jalen Williams. Someone like Chet Holmgren, who just came back from injury, could be a solid play. He's getting somewhere around 10 to 15 shots recently. Really efficient on the field goal percentage. So Chet is another guy that I like, maybe 20 points for Chet, right? Another solid guy here. Kind of looking around on the other side. Now, I mean, we look at Lou Dort, great defender. OKC has these solid, pesky defenders that will get under your skin, and then they'll do the post-conference, the funny post-conference that they always do. So, I think I don't really want shares of Trae Young. I think Dyson Daniels could play around with Shai's defense a little bit. So he's been doing really well, performing really well, right? Maybe some points, like maybe 15 points for Dyson. Kind of looking down Zachary Richardson. I mean, not really. He hasn't been very efficient. Number 1 draft pick rookie. Maybe he needs some more time, right? That's something we can take a look at there. Kind of going down the list, I mean, some bench guys I like, looking at Caris LeVert. I mean, he's getting a good amount of minutes. You can see right here, 32, 28, 22. So the minutes are solid. Shots somewhere around 10 to 12. So Caris LeVert, 15 to 20 points. Another solid option here, right? So those are some guys I like here. Maybe if we can, Terrence Mann, really good defender. So I don't think I want much shares of him because Caris LeVert is going to be that guy running the second unit. Niang has been doing solid on the three-pointers is kind of only where I want to take him because if you look right here, right, look closely, you see his field goal attempts 10, 9, 20. When you look at this and then you compare it to how many threes he's taking, almost 60 to 70% of his field goal attempts are threes. He's only shooting threes, right? Most of the time. So that's something I want to take on rather than points because if you take points and threes, say you're on both sides, well, 3-point shooters are very streaky, like I mentioned earlier. And if he's having a bad performance from the 3, then I can bet any amount of money that you want that he is not going to go over on the points because he's a primary 3-point shooter. Now, that's not the case for every guy. Like Shai, if he's not shooting well from 3, he can still get 40 points, right? Trae Young, if he's not shooting well from three, known to be a 3-point shooter, he can still end with 30 to 40 and like 20 assists, right? That's very possible for someone like Trae, but not the case for Niang, as he's not getting that much minutes, and the minutes he does get, he's going to be throwing up threes. So that's kind of the highlight of this game here. Guys I like, let's do a recap. Guys I like, Wallace looks solid. For points, Aaron Wiggins looks solid as well. He's been doing really well. I think I prefer Aaron Wiggins over Wallace. Looking at starter, Jalen Williams, I love. Chet Holmgren, solid. And then kind of going on the other side, we are looking at Dyson Daniels. No one else for starters. I mean, the Hawks have been pretty iffy on the starter side. Karis LeVert, solid. So that's kind of a recap there. All right, now let's go ahead and attack the second game of the day that we want to look at. And that is going to be the New York Knicks versus Memphis Grizzlies. There's some big news here. Josh Hart is questionable. Karl Anthony Towns is questionable. Mitchell Robinson is questionable. I think as far as Mitchell Robinson goes, he has not played a few games here, so that's something I want to keep an eye on. Josh Hart and Towns, big guys, right? Big names, a lot of minutes on the team. Towns missed last game, so he might miss this game, like kind of like a one-off, right? They are not on a back-to-back today, so maybe there's more. Maybe we can be optimistic about both of them playing, but that's another thing, right? You want to wait on news. You don't want to guess, because I get what people say. Like, they're like, oh, I want to put the bet in now because the odds are going to go up. Like, the sports book are going to raise the thing. It's not plus EV, this, that, whatever. Sure, I get it. But you don't know what these coaches are going to do. You're not on a first name basis with these coaches. So you want to wait for the news to come out. You want to wait to see what the head coaches do, who they start, who they sit. So that's something I want to keep an eye on. So let's talk about the scenario if they do sit. If Josh Hart and Towns are both out, then that's going to increase the usage for Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. With Thibodeau, a New York Knicks coach, he loves playing the starters. He will play them 40 minutes a game. I know there's some crazy stat about Mikal Bridges, top 5 in most games started and minutes played, something like that. So it's insane. So kind of looking here, if they are both out, those are some of the guys I'll look at. If they do both end up playing, Memphis is a really solid defender against guards. So someone like Towns is kind of what I would be leaning towards. OG Anunoby. There's a lot of 3-point shooters here. We can look at someone like Mikal Bridges, who's had a string of good games. I would say overall maybe 15 points. Last game really good, so confidence, right? Confidence is going to come into this one. Other than that, maybe looking at I think the news is a big part. I can't really say which way we're going to lean because one of Josh Hart or Towns could be out too, right? And that's going to kind of throw off things. On the other side, looking at Memphis, Desmond Bane is questionable. That is obviously big name, top 3 on his team on usage, scoring. So if Bane is out, I think I'm not going to go Ja Morant just because of this Bridges matchup here. And if you all remember the last video, I gave Ja Morant as my play of the day, and we banged that. The parlay was on the play was on the Discord and all of social media. So if you were able to tail that one, then let's go. But Ja Morant, don't love him here. Mikal Bridges has a really solid defense, and I feel like they're going to do more of helping down low with Towns and OG. Jaren Jackson is a play I kind of like here. Solid shots are high, right? And if Bane is out, he's going to get more shots up. I'm going to be honest. I don't love this game as much as OKC and Hawks because of the news, right? And I think we're kind of just going to end it there and then go for the play of the day. It's just tough. It's just tough to look at Hart and Towns game time decision here because Thibodeau will do some random shit at the last minute. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and end it there for this video. As far as the play of the day, all right, we are going to do the play of the day today. All right, guys, you watched the entire YouTube video. I truly appreciate you. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. And for today's play of the day, we are going to go with the OKC Thunder and Atlanta Hawks game. And we're going with Aaron Wiggins 15 plus points. Wiggins has been doing really well recently. Past few games, he's been taking a lot of shots. And without Alex Caruso today, I think that's going to continue. He's been running that second unit. This is a fast-paced game, 244. More points, more rebounds, more assists. I love Aaron Wiggins here. I think he could go for 20 points, maybe even 25. So we're going to lock this 15 plus point in and we're going to cash out. Let's go.